This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
It was a really long process. I was told by a few doctors that I should just stop running.
Welcome to Finish Lines and Milestones, a podcast for everyday runners. I'm your host, Allie Bretnacher, and if you run, you're a runner, and every runner has a story. Join me each week as I share these stories and we celebrate finish lines and milestones together. This week's episode is brought to you by Relay Active. Relay Active is a women's activewear brand, made for running. I've been buying Relay Active for years. It is a woman-owned business. They give 1% of proceeds back to animal rescue. So I cannot say enough good things about this brand. Quickly, I want to give you my favorite products. I love the Errichiello pocket shorts. They have a longer inseam, which I need, and great pockets. There is the Kella Pocket Crop Top, which is a little longer than a sports bra. It has a phone pocket that holds your phone in just perfectly. And then the Clio Pocket Bra also has the phone pocket. I don't buy bras without phone pockets these days, so. And then I am the proud new owner of some long sleeve items, which are perfect for the weird in-between season that we are all experiencing right now, where you don't really know what to wear. So I'm super excited to try those out. I literally got them today in the mail as I record this. And all of these are super buttery, soft, so comfortable to wear, again, made for running. So if you want to check out Relay Active, you can go to relayactive.com and you can use code Milestones for 15% off your order. That's code Milestones at relayactive.com. Thank you so much, Relay Active, for supporting this podcast. Okay, and then before I get to this week's guest, it's race week for me. I'm running the Fort Myers Half Marathon down in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm very excited to escape the cold for a few days and have my first race of the year. So look for a race recap on that. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Allie, A-L-L-Y-T Brett, B-R-E-T-T, Allie T Brett _runs, where I will surely be posting plenty of content from my experience this weekend. So stay tuned to hear about that. And I wanted you guys to be the first to know that the tickets for the Indy Mini event, so we have an event the night before the Indy Mini here in Indianapolis. That is a live podcast with Lindsay Hine. We have posted the tickets for that already. So if you go to the link in my bio of Instagram or you go to the show notes here, you can grab your ticket for that. We will probably sell out again this year, likely sooner rather than later. So I'm telling you now so you can get your tickets. And if you're not local, you need to come to Indianapolis sometime if you haven't picked up on that already. So this week's guest is Carly Trulock-Quinn, and Carly is a member of the Fishers Running Club. She is on their board, and I have known Carly for a while now as part of the running community, and I'm just in awe of her. And I got to know her during this episode. We talk a lot about the injuries that she's dealt with over the years and where that stems from, and some important topics, especially as it relates to women runners, but not just women. And we talk about mental health. We talk about how she fits running into her busy lifestyle and how she avoids burnout from running, which is something that she's experienced and I think a lot of us have experienced. And then we end talking about a huge, huge campaign that she is launching. So if you listen to this the day it comes out on Friday, February 27th, then it will have just launched yesterday on February 26th. It goes all the way through March 8th, and she is raising $150,000 for the Blood Cancer United organization. And so if you're familiar with LLS, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, they rebranded to incorporate all blood cancers, which they always have, but the name just makes it more clear. So let's all make sure that we support Carly. And even if you don't want to give monetary gifts, figure out a way to share or support her in this journey, which is amazing. So proud of you, Carly. All right, well, without further ado, meet Carly Trulock-Quinn. And your last name is just Trulock.
Trulock-Quinn.
Okay, that's right.
So it's a kind of a silly story. My maiden name's Trulock. My legal name is Trulock. Married name is Quinn. We got married during COVID when the courts were shut down, and we got married in Jamaica. So they weren't doing like non-essential court proceedings during COVID, and then because of that we like missed our window to do it for free the easy way. So now I have to petition to change my name. That was also when I was changing jobs and I wanted people in my industry to remember who I was and not see a new name, new email, new company.
Right.
So in my work signature, it's hyphenated. On LinkedIn, it's hyphenated. On Facebook, it's just Quinn. On Instagram, it's both.
Okay, I was going to say, now that you say it, I've definitely seen that.
Yeah, eventually. But I'm like,
well, yeah, it's such a pain. That's so interesting. So wait, what year did you get married?
2021.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
What a wild time to get married.
It was insane.
Was that a backup plan, getting married in Jamaica, or was that always your plan?
That was the plan. We had a reception in Indianapolis a couple weeks after. Now, the Jamaica wedding was initially supposed to be 60 people, and it ended up being about between 35 and 40.
Yeah.
So.
People were probably still weird about going places, or?
Yes. Jamaica got hit pretty hard with COVID in general.
Yeah.
And so they were on a red travel advisory, but the tourism industry was still open with just restrictions. I mean, it's kind of necessary. I mean, it's a
for
big
their
part
economy.
Of their economy.
Yeah.
So we had a great experience, and they had nurses on site that did the COVID testing for us before we left.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Had you ever been to Jamaica before that?
We had not. That was our first time.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Highly, highly recommend.
Yeah, I've never been.
It's worth it to go a little bit further from the airports. We got married in Negril on the 7 Mile beach, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful.
We should stop talking about it since it's February here in Indiana.
Probably.
Although I get to go to Florida next weekend, so.
Oh, that's nice. I was in Florida last weekend, the weekend before.
Okay.
2 weekends ago for Michelle's birthday.
Oh, yeah. Michelle
we went for a
Geyer's
weekend.
birthday. She turned 40?
Yes, or
Okay.
39 plus 1.
39 plus 1. Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. Oh, exciting.
Yeah, July. So I got to figure out what we're going to do for that. But yeah, that looked like an awesome celebration.
Drinking around the world in Epcot was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine.
It was so much fun.
That's awesome. Well, happy belated birthday, Michelle.
Yes.
39 forever.
Yes.
Oh gosh. So we mentioned Michelle. She's Mark Geyer's wife. Mark Geyer has been on this podcast.
Yes.
Michelle needs to be on this podcast.
She does need to be on this podcast.
You are all part of the Fishers Running Club.
We are.
And I might make some people mad, but Fishers Running Club is probably my favorite. I just feel like because it's just this really, really tight-knit group, and the support that you all show each other is just outstanding. And that's not to say like Carmel and Indy Runners and Zionsville, Westfield, that they don't have community too, but you guys are on another level.
I will accept that. I'm on the board of FRC, so
There
I'll
you
definitely
go.
accept that.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, I talk about it all the time. My people at work probably think I'm nuts for a multitude of reasons, but you said it. I mean, it's the best community. I have made so many of my closest friends. It's crazy to think that 5 years ago I didn't know most of them.
Right.
And now they're some of the most important people in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met amazing friends through the club. My coach, Sara Farney, is somebody that I've grown super close to, both, within running and outside of running. I mean, Michelle Geyer, Rachel Ebeyer, and I mean, I've gotten really close with them over the past year, and these friendships are just, I don't know, it sounds so corny, but they're incredible. Like, I can't imagine my life without these people now. So.
Well, and you think about the experiences you've had with them.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody listening who has experienced endurance efforts of some kind with people.
Yes.
You go through a lot, and doing that with somebody certainly is a way to build a different level of relationship.
I agreed, especially some of those longer races or training cycles. There's so much time when you're out running, and if you run with me or if you run with Sara Farney, we've actually been told it's like running with your own personal podcast, because Sara and I don't stop talking.
Oh, that's nice. I would appreciate that, because sometimes I just want to zone out and just be, and so being able to listen to somebody have a conversation would be great.
Yeah, Sara and I don't stop talking, so you're always welcome to run with
Yeah.
us.
I feel like Fishers, sadly, from Carmel is in another state.
There's not an easy way to get to Fishers or Carmel, especially like depending on where you live, because I technically live in Fortville, but I'm not super far from Fishers. But it's so funny because I found Fishers Run Club through Carmel Marathon.
Yeah, the irony there. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So I was already like way out of my way, and I remember saying, can I still join? I don't actually live in Fishers. So like, we don't care.
Yeah,
We've got
really.
lots of people from all over.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, and it's really not that far
No,
from here.
it's
just
not.
kind of a mess to get over there. But yeah, so you've been running for a long time.
Yes.
Since you were 10, is that right? And I love that you put in the notes that your mom also was a runner, because similar to you, my dad and I have a really special relationship when it comes to running, but my mom was the one who started it actually in our family.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
And so I do like to give her credit where it's due. She doesn't run anymore. She has hip issues, but
Hey,
my
Mom.
dad is still running. at 69.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
I've seen you've done some race. You
Yes.
did a race together like in the last year, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to have parents who kind of model that for you, and not just parents. Was it your grandma or your grandpa?
My grandfather. Yeah. So
That's really cool.
Running is definitely in the family. So my dad ran in high school, ran for a little bit in college, and he played other sports too, and he got into other things as he got older. But that was something that him and I really connected with because he, did cross country and track and field, and he was always the parent like sprinting across the cross country courses, who like with a stopwatch that he brought, like he
That's
gave
adorable.
everybody splits. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then my mom did not start running until she was an adult, so she did not have the school experience, but then she found it and really fell in love with it as an adult. My mom also does not run anymore. She actually has a type of dystonia, which before Kara Goucher, I don't feel like people really knew what that was.
I still don't know if I actually know what that is, so you might want to.
Yeah, briefly, it's a neurological movement disorder. It's in the same family as Parkinson's, but it's still definitely affects quality of life, but it's not something that's going to like kill you. It's not as severe from like a degeneration standpoint.
Okay.
But Kara Goucher talks about it on her podcast too. We don't know a ton about it because it's rare.
Yeah.
But that unfortunately did stop her from running. But she still, oh my gosh, she works out like a fiend.
That's how my mom is.
She loves
active.
F45.
Oh, your mom does F45? My husband is very into F45.
Yeah, they have one in Muncie now, which is where my family's from.
Okay.
And so she still does that. And then her dad, my grandfather, ran on and off for a large portion of his life. And they did it used to be the Muncie Endurathon.
Okay.
But now it's Ironman. But they did like the team relay with biking and running, and for some reason swimming wasn't involved with that one. But they ran the Indy Mini together at least once. So definitely a family affair.
Yeah.
And then I am an aunt to 10 nieces and nephews.
What?
Yes.
That's a lot. Wait, how many do I? Okay. Well, yeah, but 10 still.
It's a lot.
How many siblings do you have?
So funny part, none of them come from my brother. I only have one sibling, full sibling, and his name's Wilson. He does not have any kids. So 7 of them come from my husband's side, and 3 come from I call her my stepsister. So my parents divorced when I was 6,
Okay.
7, and my mom is remarried. I've got an awesome stepdad, and it's just Wilson and I on that side. But then my dad's has a girlfriend, but partner's more appropriate. They've been together since
For a long time.
I don't know, a year or 2 after my parents divorced. So,
Yeah.
And she had 3 children before who are a little bit older than I am. And one of her daughters, Natalie, has 3 kids. And so I have twin nieces who are 3.5 and
Wow.
a
Yeah.
1.5-year-old nephew on their side. And they're
Wow.
the cutest, sweetest little things. I love being an aunt. It's like one of my favorite things in this world.
Yeah.
So between them and my husband's side, lots of kids. I love it. And I have 2 nieces and a nephew on my husband's side that all run cross country and track and field.
That is so fun.
I love it. I have to remind myself, like, okay, there are other sports. They can do other things because I get so excited.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm like that way as a mom a little bit.
Well, yeah. I know one day that's going to be hard for me. But
Right.
It's really cool because one of my nieces runs at the same high school that I went to and has the same coach.
That is so crazy.
And I love that because that coach, his name's Coach Turner, really helped inspire my lifelong love of running. He's an incredible coach in person, and I just can't say enough good things about him. So when Callie started running for on his team, I was so excited. So I get to go watch her and my old coach in action, and then I have a niece and nephew that run at Mount Vernon. So
Okay. Wow, that's so fun.
I love it. It's so much fun. And I've got nephews that plays golf. I've got 3 nieces in Ohio that there's swimming, there's soccer. I'm probably going to leave out a sport. But they're all very active.
Yeah. Yeah, how fun is that? So what about your husband? Does he run? What does he do?
No.
Does he? Yeah, he's like you probably run enough for the both of you. That's how it is in my relationship.
Yeah, he is not a runner. Golf is his main thing. He played golf in school. He also played baseball and football when he was younger, but he stayed with golf. And he was an assistant pro for a while before we met. He's really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if he would still call himself a scratch golfer. If not, he's pretty much there. So
Pretty close.
Yeah. I just know when tournament season like comes around, he's always getting like, hey, do you want to be on my team? And that works really well for us because I don't know that much about golf. I'm like, good job.
Yeah.
So we do very different things, but I think he feels about my running the way I feel about his golf. It's like supportive. I don't get it, but
yeah, that's really
you're
funny.
good at it and I'm happy for you.
Right. At least you both have that, have your thing. And then, my husband and I ran a marathon together once.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
We started training together while we were dating. I had already run a marathon at that point, and I was getting ready to train for it. And I asked him if he wanted to do it with me. And he said yes. And then when we were training together, I'm like, this guy's the one. Like that's
awesome.
The fact that he had only ever run 3 miles and then
wanted to
do that.
For you.
But now no more.
No. Yeah.
He does the mini sometimes, but he stopped kind of training for it, which at an older age makes it really hard and not as pleasant.
Yeah. Running is not a forgiving sport or activity or hobby, but it's amazing. And I understand it's not for everybody. I mean, there's lots of things that I can't like the pickleball phase. I'm supportive of people who enjoy that. It's just not my thing. I'll run around the neighborhood and wait for you to be done so we can go like grab a margarita or something. But
I would love to be really into pickleball. I played tennis. I love ping pong. So it's a great in between kind of combination. But with how much I love running, I am so terrified of spraining an ankle.
Yeah.
I'm too competitive to like not go all in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really play very much because I want to run.
I totally get that. It's hard to balance those things, especially with the sport that's so like dynamic where you're, back and forth and doing things that like are stability muscles in running.
Right.
Maybe if we all did a little bit better with our strength training,
right.
it would be stronger, but they're not.
Yeah. And mobility, what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
You're better than I am. You've done some of the challenges on social media that I've done, and I don't know how people do that stuff.
I always think it's fun to try, but I'm painfully aware as I get older that it's going to start to go away if I don't really become intentional about it. I do try pretty hard to stay with my mobility stuff. I'm not as good at strength training, but with some of my old injuries, I have to stay on top of some of that mobility. So I do try.
Yeah, I need to be better. But how did you decide to run in college?
So I had an amazing couple seasons in high school. It would have been an amazing couple years had I not gotten a pretty intense injury as a junior. And I felt just devastated when I missed these seasons and could see the clock ticking, and I just felt like I hadn't reached my potential.
What was your injury?
I cracked my sacrum.
That's like your tailbone?
It's right above the coccyx.
Okay, I don't even know what that is either. So.
The coccyx is tailbone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
So it's right above that.
Ouch.
Yeah. So that is not a bone that you should be able to fracture from stress reaction or overuse. That should be, a relatively protected area unless you fall or in a car crash or something. That's typically when you would do that. Mine, I remember it very clearly. I was on an out and back training run, and when my teammate and I turned around, a couple steps in, I felt a pop, and it hurt. Not debilitating, but I was like, whew, that.
Did you take a weird step, or was it just literally you were just
a pop?
That's so crazy.
And the whole way back, I was like, this is not going away. But I had to get back. I mean, Yorktown running, you're running out to a farm and back, literally. Yeah. So it was like, better keep going. And at that point, I had a fracture my freshman year and my sophomore year in my ankles. And
jeez.
I had a talk with my coach about like staying healthy and how I had, he was awesome. He was like, you have potential, but we've got to keep you healthy. If you want to reach these goals and you want to be a leader, you've got to stay healthy. And so I am dreading telling him. Not because I thought he'd be mad at me. We had just had all these conversations and these big talks. And I was just really excited. I was getting stronger as a runner. And so it took us months to figure out what I'd actually hurt, because it kind of pinched a nerve and I was getting shooting pain wrapped around my hip.
Oh.
And also intense pain in my lower back, and x-rays didn't show anything.
How? That's crazy.
Well, part of it's because we weren't x-raying the right part. And that's not something you would look for, because I didn't fall. I didn't
Yeah,
have
that's
anything.
right. So it wasn't typical for anybody to be like, oh, we should check this because it could be that.
And most doctors at that point thought I just pulled something or I was out of alignment. But even trying to put me back into alignment with the broken sacrum was very painful.
That sounds awful.
It really was. And I this was during track season, and I remember being in a relay and trying to run the 800 and crying at like in the middle towards the end. And that wasn't me. That's not, I don't cry in races. I mean, as an adult, I definitely am more emotional with some of my bigger goals, but not for the same reason. Like that was not something that I normally did. And I don't remember how we got to the point where we told Central Indiana Orthopedics, like something else is wrong. And it's a whole fiasco with how we ended up finding out. We were supposed to do a dye injection MRI in the ball and socket joint of my hip, which I'll spare you the details. It's not a fun process. And that was kind of a hectic ordeal because you have to be put on medication to have that injection and to like Valium and things. And I was a kid and it was too much. And it was not a fun time. And the dye went all around that region of my pelvis and lit up those breaks in my sacrum. And it's crazy when you have a sacrum fracture with no blunt force trauma, because you will get doctors and nurses and people coming in.
Oh, who are just fascinated by it?
Who are worried about you.
Oh.
They're like, hey, will everybody leave the room? Did somebody push down the stairs?
Okay.
Were you in a secret car crash? Didn't tell mom and dad? Like, I was like, no. I mean, I had no idea.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And now as an adult, I'm thankful that they asked those questions.
Of course.
As a kid, I was like, you're insane. My parents are fine. Like,
what? Yeah.
But that started like a cascade of tests because I should not have been able to break that bone. And ultimately I got diagnosed with osteoporosis level bone density in my pelvis and then osteopenia everywhere else.
Okay.
And that made them kind of keep going and keep looking at things. And so we started looking at my hormone and endocrine work and my vitamin deficiencies, and it was not fun.
Which year was this?
I was a junior.
Okay.
And so all I knew is I lost my track season. I was in pain. That's when you start looking at running in college. And I was having these doctors try to figure out what was wrong with me. And it's crazy to me that none of them, for a while, were able to tell me about, at the time, we called it the female athlete triad. And now it's REDS, or relative energy deficiency in sports.
Okay.
And that's what it was. I had low bone density. I was experiencing amenorrhea, which is the loss of menses.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so no period for people who don't know what that means. Guys who are listening are like,
guys,
what?
No periods. But that was unfortunately normal for high cardio runners at the time. It shouldn't be. It's not normal, but it was normalized.
Yeah.
And I was little. I mean, I've never been a big person, but I was very small at that point in my life. And I wouldn't have told you I had an eating disorder. I wouldn't have thought I had one. I probably had some disordered eating at that point, but it was never, I don't know. There's no rationalizing it. I was not eating enough calories.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went into this kind of like full overhaul of trying to figure out what was going on, getting me back to a healthier level. I specifically remember my coach kind of finding out about who's a man, who's not somebody that, most girls are not going to want to talk to their male coach about these things. But he was a teacher, he's a dad, he was a great coach, great guy. And I just remember him at the end of one practice being like, Greek yogurt or cottage cheese? And I was like, what? And he's like, pick one, and we're going to start eating that after practice every day. And he's like, we got to get your calcium up, we got to get these up. It was never a conversation about like weight or body image, but it was always you need the calcium, you
fuel.
Need the
fuel. We need to help.
Fuel.
Yeah.
And so I remember going home and telling my parents, like, I need to buy Greek yogurt. And
that's the one you picked. Do you like cottage cheese?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't, that means...
No. Yeah. And so I did get back to a healthier state going into my senior year. But during all of that, I don't want to spend the entire podcast on this, but it was a really long process. I was told by a few doctors that I should just stop running. I was told by a few doctors that I could keep running, but I would probably need hip replacements by the time I was 30. I'm 30, have my normal hips, thank you. And So I was also diagnosed with osteoarthritis. At the time, it was juvenile arthritis because I was under the age of 18 or 20 or whatever. And I had done some damage to my reproductive health because of the low estrogen levels.
Oh.
And so there are these physicians, most of which were male, telling me, like, I remember one, I was 17, being like, you might not be able to have kids. And like my jaw dropping. And my dad was in the room. He was like, you can't tell. You don't, that's not.
Hello.
Yeah. And luckily I've had further conversations with physicians who are a little bit more familiar with sex hormones and REDs and female runners. And hopefully that's not an issue in the future when I, choose to pursue that part of life. But it was a lot. It was very heavy.
When you're 17. You shouldn't run, and you might not have children ever.
Yeah.
So just sit with that.
And those were two huge parts of my identity at that point. Obviously, I was too young to have that, but like I've always known I want to be a mom. Like that's always been something I've wanted to be. So having that, and then having running be most of my young identity at that point was just heartbreaking. I mean, I really struggled with that. So I was so happy to come back healthy my senior year, be able to run. I still remember conversations with doctors being like, we really don't want you to run in college. It was this kind of like back and forth between them and my family. And like, well, what if we look at a Division III school? Because I thought I wanted to go to Butler. I'm like, maybe I don't need to have the job, the sport job, maybe I don't need to pursue it. Because I was like, maybe I might not be able to handle that mileage. Mm-hmm. And so I had talked with the DePauw team and the DePauw coach, and it felt like a good fit for me. And I was just excited. I felt like I've left my high school running with a lot of untapped potential. I had ran the mile one time under 5:30, just barely. And I thought I could go faster. I had ran one 5K around 19:35, and I thought I could go faster if I stayed healthy. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to pursue college running. That did not last very long because I got injured immediately. The training was too much mileage. It was just too much on my body. And I actually found out last year from x-rays from something different that I did have multiple healed stress fractures in my shins from college running. We just never pursued the x-rays at that time. So
wow.
So I'd say that long-winded but very important story for important. Where I'm at with running now is I have a very different perspective on running, and I know what it feels like to think and to be told that it might be taken away from me. So I'm very intentional with my training, very careful, and also very careful to not make it my whole identity.
Yeah.
Because between that and, friends and family members who have loved running and made it their identity or had it be such a big part of their identity and have it taken away.
Right.
I'm very intentional about keeping goals and things spread out and understanding that this can't be 100% of my life for a multitude of reasons. Mm-hmm. But that injury and cascade of things that happened after and those health issues have taught me lessons that I don't wish on anybody, and especially somebody that age. I look at my nieces now who are that age, and I can't imagine them experiencing that. But things have gotten better. But that's one of the reasons I'm very intentional about the way I talk about running, the way I talk about fueling, the way that I show up in the club and the running community, and the way we talk about bodies and speeds and mileage and food, and because REDS isn't just something that impacts college athletes or professional athletes. It impacts mostly women, but some men and people of all ages.
Wow. So back in high school when you had those fractures in your ankles, that's all I'm assuming that's all kind of tied together, more or less?
Probably.
Yeah.
The first one was a break, like a fracture from falling.
Okay.
My foot went under a tree root and my body went over.
Oh.
Yeah. At cross-country camp, actually.
Great.
Yeah, I was 14. Not a great start. So that one less so, but then the next year, that same spot refractured, so it probably just didn't heal all the way.
Yeah.
But I've not...
I don't know if that's wood, but
well,
maybe the legs are.
There. I've managed to stay healthy, but I'm also training a lot different now.
Yeah. What happened, after you had to give up the collegiate sport of running? How did you treat running the rest of your college life? Did you still run for fitness, or did you kind of just give it up?
I still ran for fitness. I stayed on the treadmill most of the time because because of my old sacrum injury, I deal with a lot of alignment issues. And so the treadmill, well, people, have strong opinions about it. It's flat and it's even.
Yeah.
And it was the safest way for me to get mileage in without worrying about, hurting myself. And so I stayed with running on and off through college and even a little bit after. And then I did Orange Theory for several years in my early to mid 20s.
Was that in Fisher's area?
Mm-hmm. That was right after we moved here. And I loved that. And I realized that with strength training and cross training, I was getting faster again and feeling strong. And I started to wonder, maybe I can try running outside. I mean, they were wrong about other things, which in general is not my way of thinking about, we should listen to the experts, we should listen to our doctors. But I did consult 2 of my doctors. I sought out a coach who was very comfortable with lower mileage training, which is Coach Farney, and I was like, try it. Why not? If I get hurt, I've learned my lesson.
You've been there before too. It's
yeah. And so that's kind of how I got back into it, was after several years at Orange Theory and only looking forward to the treadmill part and looking forward to the benchmarks at Orange Theory that were specific to the treadmill.
Yeah.
I was having so much fun and I just was like, God, I miss this. And so I thought, we might as well try it again. We'll just be safe and intentional. And we were. I mean, my first marathon build was 21 weeks.
Okay.
Which, is a lot longer than the traditional one. And started out with 4 days a week of running and very low mileage. I mean, it was a slow ramp up on purpose to make sure that I was giving my body ample time to get used to this again.
Do you take supplements every day that help?
I try to get as much of it from whole food as I can.
Yeah.
And then I'll supplement with vitamin D and calcium, and then I take glucosamine and chondroitin, which are good for joint health. I try not to depend too much on supplements just because they're not studied and they don't go through any approvals. And so I'll supplement ones that after I've talked to my doctor about them, but I try really hard to get everything from whole food. I still eat a lot of Greek yogurt.
What kind of flavor are we talking?
Strawberry banana.
Okay, nice. Any toppings?
Granola, chia seeds.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes flaxseed meal.
Yeah.
Because fiber is also important.
That it is. So did you find the club through Orange Theory?
I had heard of run clubs in the area. I knew that Orange Theory showed up big at Carmel. And I had done the 5K a couple times. And I thought, well, what if I try to run the 10K? And if that goes well, maybe I will try really training outside for like a half marathon. And so I went to the expo and I was talking with friends at the Orange Theory booth, and a couple of the guys from FRC kind of came up behind me and said hi to the people at Orange Theory they knew, and they're like, well, if you're here, you might as well just join a run club. And it was the easiest sell in the world. I was like, okay.
Okay, sounds great.
Followed him back, and then I did end up saying, let me see how tomorrow goes. But if it goes well and I feel good, I'm there. And I did the 10K the next day, felt great. I was super excited. So excited that I forgot to go to the tent and introduce myself and say hi. I just went back to the car, signed up on my phone.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Joined the Facebook page, and then it was perfect timing because normally the new member expo that we do is before Carmel. And that year, for whatever reason, it was a week or two after Carmel. So I got to go to this event where Orange Theory was going to be there. So I was like, okay, at least I'll have friends. I'll know a couple people.
Yes.
That's where I met Sara Farney and immediately was like, I want you to be my coach. And at the time, Tracy Nieberg too. And we started working together and
oh my gosh, like how it's, gone.
How it's played out.
Yeah, has been. So let's talk about that. What year was that 10K?
That was, let's see, 2026. I think that was 2023. I don't know, 22 or 23.
Fair enough.
I have to think about it in terms of if I did the 10K and then the next year I did the half.
I was like, well, if you did the 5K twice, if you factor in the COVID factor, it was probably.
I did the 5K during COVID. I actually have a picture of myself finishing with the COVID mask on, in the 5K because it was so cold that year. They made you have them in the starting corrals, but told you could take it down once you got out. It was so cold that I ended up putting mine back up because the air was just frigid. And so I finished. It's such a funny race finish photo.
That is really funny, actually.
So I have this hilarious, like I'm fully stried out, finishing a 5K. I've got this neon Team Orange Theory shirt on over my cold gear with a 3-ply surgical mask on.
Perfect.
And I remember people being like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, I'm freezing. This is my neck gaiter right now.
Yeah, right. I should have worn a neck gaiter, but now.
Yeah, this is filtering the air for me right now.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it warmer. So I did do a 5K at Carmel during COVID.
Yeah, that's funny. Gosh, crazy times. Okay, so you do the 10K, feel good. You join the club. You have Coach Farney. And then was the next year when you did your first half marathon, or did you end up doing that in the fall?
No, I went full... can I say this? I went full balls to the wall that first year.
You can say that.
I signed up for Monumental Full.
Oh, yeah.
And decided I would do my first official half marathons. And I'd ran the distance of half marathons before. I'd just never done one
Okay. When did you run the distance?
As challenges on Saturdays in high school.
Wow.
For fun.
Okay.
And then I think
is that normal in like high school running?
God, it is now. I wasn't then. I was unofficial. We had a couple or a couple routes that were almost 13. I think the one that I'm thinking of was 10, and then we added on, I think. And
interesting.
Yeah, but no, that was not the full. I don't even think that was a team sanctioned practice. It was a Saturday and off season, and
a
group of us thought, why not?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I signed up. I did 8-hour Dream Relay that summer. I did Geist Half. My first official half marathon was Geist Half.
Okay.
And it went amazing. I ran it with Sara the whole time. I really didn't know what to expect. And I think I ran a 1:37:30 for my first half, and I didn't know what that meant at the time. Like I was excited about the time, looking at the splits, but I didn't anticipate running that fast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because people listening are like, oh, for your first half marathon, that is...
Well, I mean, I may have gotten a little too excited after that because I did end up getting kind of hurt. Not from Geist, I don't think. This was a little bit further into training before Monumental. It was an alignment-based issue with knee. It wasn't any break. It wasn't anything. I got that worked out. But I did run my first marathon with some twinges of things going on. Yeah. But it made me kind of reality check, step back, and say, like, you don't need to focus hardcore on a time for your first marathon, which I was still telling myself I wanted to.
Yeah, it's hard not to do that.
It's so hard, especially coming from competitive running for so long.
Absolutely.
I'm competitive. I wanted that BQ. And I remember like doing the math and extrapolating from my Geist halftime, and I'm like, I can do this. And then I started hurting in my knee, and I was like, well, maybe not. And my first one was a 3:46, I think.
Okay.
I think, yeah, something around there.
Did you run that with Sara?
No, she started with me because she did the half that year.
Okay.
So what, until that 7 mile
7 miles
split.
they split.
Yeah, so I ran it for that part, and then on my own from like an in-race perspective, but I had folks from FRC, back and forth and pick me up around the art museum.
Yep.
And then, God, there's nothing like coming around that final turn at Monumental and
seeing all the clubs lined up in those tents.
And there's just nothing like it. The pictures of me there, I'm dead on my first marathon, but I am like eyes closed crying. I mean, I was just very emotional.
Yeah, because now those are like all your people too. And it's just,
I couldn't believe it. I mean, how big, that's something that I will never get over with this club, no matter how many races I do with the team or the club. The way that everybody shows up for each other is just unique and so genuine. I mean, it's so genuine. It's crazy. And it's crazy how quickly you come to, 6 months ago, I barely knew these people. And now we're, diehard screaming for each other at these races.
Yeah.
And I just think about how crazy it is to see once you get really close with your people, with your club, how much their PRs and their wins feel like yours.
Yes.
I mean, Prairie on Fire this year, there were lots of people that I knew and cared about that were running it, but there was this core group of women in FRC who we did it together, mostly together, and had been planning like the campsite for months. And it was Sara Farney, Tammy Marenti, Michelle Geyer, and Angela Kumar and I. And all of them accomplished insane things that day, and I cried for all of them. I don't even think I cried when I finished for like mine, but we have Michelle, who's never ran an ultra, never ran further than a marathon.
And how old's her baby? Like
at this point, Penny was March to September. Was that 4 months, 5 months?
I
6
mean,
months?
less than a year old.
Less than a year old.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
And running her first ultra marathon.
Yeah.
And then decides not to stop at a 50K and go an extra yard or two.
Jeez.
I mean, like, just incredible. Like, already in awe of women, but holy cow. And then you've got my coach, Tammy Marenti and Angela, who are all going to go hit 100. And then you have Tammy, who's like, I'm not stopping at 100. And goes 108, although I think she'll call it. Or was it 100? I don't know. I know that she came like really close to the next mile, but she won't let you say the next one. I can't, but I think it's 108. And then seeing Gracie Bell, who I don't know personally, also be there, come out and win the women's race with her infant there.
Right.
And
just unbelievable. And
so like I'm always in awe. I mean, guys, you're cool too, I guess. But
good job, guys. But
specifically the women that I surround myself with. Guys, you're cool too.
Yeah.
But I just tears so frequently that day, and then the next day into Sunday. I mean, it was just. I can't say enough good things about Prairie on Fire. I highly recommend the race. And no, I'm not paid to say that. No, I'm not sponsored. It's a great race.
Yeah, for people, I've definitely talked about it on this podcast quite a bit, but for people who might not have heard the episodes where we talked about it, it's a backyard ultra marathon.
Yes, it is.
So if you want to explain just the setup of that.
Yeah, it's unique. I love the format. So a backyard ultra, it started with Laz of the famous Barkley Marathon, which is the craziest, in my opinion, the craziest ultra ever. He came up with the backyard ultra format, which is every hour on the hour, you run a 4.168 mile loop. And the reason for that obscure number is because in 24 hours, you will run 100 miles. And it's crazy because there's just nothing else like it. You know, every hour you have to go run this, and you can run 8-minute pace. Don't recommend that for most people. Or you can run 12-minute pace, and then the rest of that hour when you get back to camp is yours. The only rule is you have to hit the start line at the next hour, and that's the rule. Like those are the rules. And so you get a lot of wiggle room in how you plan for that free time, how you plan for pacing. And for the Prairie on Fire race in Noblesville at Katiwi, there's a day loop and a night loop because the day loop has some uneven terrain and it's not as accessible or safe at night just because of footing and things. And so we had planned stop points. There's walking breaks that you take. You walk the hills when you can. You walk the weird gravel parts just to save your ankles and your feet. And then you get back and it's, what are you going to do with I think we tended to average anywhere between 11 and 14 minutes.
Yeah. Wow. Which seems both long and short at the same time.
Exactly. It's the Wild West when you're back at camp for that amount of time because you need to prioritize a set of things and rest. You know, you want your heart rate to come down. You need calories. You need fluids. You need electrolytes. You probably need to change your socks. You probably need to change your shoes at least every, so many yards is what they're called. One loop is a yard. You might need to use the bathroom. You might need to close your eyes, put your feet up. You might need to change clothes. There's lots of different things. You might need to scrape out your legs. There's just so many different things. And so we all had slightly different systems. But I ran my furthest distance there. That's my distance PR, which is 100K or roughly 62 miles. And I don't know if I would have been able to achieve that last year in a different format because I'm mentally pretty strong, but I get blisters and my stomach is my biggest enemy on race day.
Yeah.
No matter what. And so getting to stop, eat when I'm not moving, when my heart rate is down, and I changed my socks almost every lap and did blister balm almost every lap. And that's the longest I've ever ran by a pretty decent margin and no blisters. It's the only race I've ever not gotten blisters, which is insane.
That's pretty amazing. So, what's your go-to blister balm?
Oh my gosh. Actually, I don't use an official blister balm anymore. I use A&D ointment.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, or like I
grade.
have jars of like Vaseline that I've used too.
I have definitely used Vaseline. A friend of mine I think she's in FRC. She might be an official member. I actually don't know. Julie Gebhardt, who's a very established ultra runner in the Fishers community and just a sweet, sweet human. Like, I had talked with her before, just after running in. I literally met her from running into her on a path in Fishers, I think, after an FRC run, and got to know her. And she's like, oh, you need this A&D ointment. I'm going to send you the link. This is the best thing. And she's 100% right. Best thing is it comes in jars and like drugstore packets. So I can take packets and put them in my vest.
Yes.
It also works for chafing and things. So it's my go-to ever since Julie recommended it.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
That's good to know. I'll definitely link that so that people can go.
A&D ointment.
Yeah. Well, and I remember I watched the film that Jon made, Jon Kuhn. And
Which one?
What?
Which one? Which film?
Oh, which film? I know. Good call. The one for this last year.
Oh, gosh, yes.
For the first 4.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one called? Like Finding Ultra or something like that.
Chasing 100?
Was it? He has 2 other ones. I don't know. Anyway,
right.
I'll find those and link them too. But they're just really great documentaries for anybody who might not even know any of the people in the videos. It's awesome to see and like get a better sense of the format or whatever. But I just think about Tammy, who I'm interviewing soon.
Oh, yay.
And Angela, who I'm interviewing soon too. But I just think about Tammy and her blister issues. You're like, she's probably listening like, And
she never gets, I mean, she'll say it if you watch the video, but she never gets blisters. So that was really, I hated that for her. And that, it's not fun when you're the victim of that, but that is one of the things that like I hate to love and love to hate about ultras is you control what you can. You need to do that. You can't go in without a plan.
Yeah.
But you have to have some flexibility or like mentally knowing that things are going to happen that have never happened before. Even if you're trying nothing new on race day. I mean, like Tammy was methodical about hers. And like, I just was like, of all the things, of all the people for this to happen to.
Yeah.
And like, I hate it, but it keeps ultras interesting.
Yeah. I'm so intrigued.
I love it. I'm doing it again this year.
I know. TJ Daly, who runs the Mishinga Track Club, who does Prairie on Fire and then the Full Mo, he's been in my ear a little bit about, you should do it. You can do it. Just tell me. And
I can't believe you've not done it yet.
I can't either. It's partially just, the young kids and kind of situation and season of life that I'm in, more so than physical, because I'm probably in the darn near like best shape of my life in these past years. And
ultra training requires time.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hard. It is a time consuming.
Well, and you have like a 9-to-5 job. So how does that work into your life schedule? Quick break in the show to tell you about a couple other organizations that support this podcast. First up is Amazfit. Amazfit is a global smart wearable brand that designs smartwatches, fitness trackers, and health technology for active lifestyles like ours. I have the Balance 2 watch. It has replaced my Apple Watch and my Garmin watch. It does everything that I need. Tracks my runs, tracks my sleep, and the battery life lasts 21 days, which is absolutely amazing. And the price point is just right. $299 for the Balance 2, which compared to other watches with the same functionality, it is half the price or even less than half. So if you are looking to upgrade your watch, check out Amazfit, amazfit.com, and you can use code ALLYB, ALLYB, for 10% off your order. Thank you, Amazfit, for supporting this podcast. And then welcome back to the podcast, Cure. Cure is a plant-based hydrating electrolyte drink mix with no added sugar. It is a delicious, natural, and convenient way to keep you hydrated without the artificial stuff. They also have a kids version that was created in partnership with pediatricians. So if you're looking for something to give your kids that doesn't have a bunch of junk in it, look no further. So they have adult flavors like watermelon, berry pomegranate, and they have really fun kids flavors like pink lemonade or fruit punch. I have given this to my kids during this season of the year where they've been sick on and off and they need more hydration than just water. I've given it to them in replacement for sugary lemonade. It is perfect for travel as well. I stick some Cure packets in almost every bag I carry just so that I have them on hand. Staying hydrated isn't just about water. You also need electrolytes. That is why Cure exists. It is clean, tastes great, and my family loves it. You can grab Cure on Amazon or find a store near you at curehydration.com/AllieB, ALLYB. Real ingredients, real hydration, ready for the whole family. Thank you, Cure, for supporting this podcast. And now back to the show. Well, and you have like a 9-to-5 job. So how does that work into your life schedule?
Yeah, life's busy.
Yeah, and travel. You travel.
I do travel. Life is busy. I have, because of my, college experience with running and needing the treadmill for stability, I've had a different relationship with the treadmill, kind of like you do.
I love my treadmill so much.
It's not my favorite. I'd rather be outside, but between that and then I've been followed a few times on runs, so
that makes me so mad.
Yeah, I could go off and friends that are listening or watching have heard my rants. It's awful. And so the treadmill has provided me with the only path to running in several seasons of my life, and so I'm very thankful for that. And so while it's not fun to run while I'm traveling for work, the treadmill. The gym, treadmill, it's not fun. It's not exciting. Well,
especially you don't know what you're going to get sometimes. Some hotels have the worst treadmills.
Yeah. And when I'm traveling to visit customers or clients, the timing isn't quite as rigid, but I go to a lot of conferences, which I love that part of my job, genuinely. Like, I'm a huge nerd. I love to go and hear about the newest parts of the most common conferences I go to are neuroscience.
Yeah.
And but those are long days. I mean, I might have a time change, I might not, but I'm probably expected to be there between 7:30 and 8, and the conference will go till between 4 and 6, and then you have a happy hour after where you talk with clients, and then you have dinner, and then
it's a marathon.
Yeah, it is a marathon, and that's multiple days. And so I've had to learn to be flexible with my expectations of myself, but also staying committed. I'm very intentional with the way that I look at my training and look at my life, because I know there's lots of running influencers and things out there that'll be like, you have to be all in all the time. You have to be all in all the time. Yeah. First off, think about how many things you've lost or would have lost if you gave up because you couldn't be 100% all in.
Yeah.
So I don't like that mindset. If it works for you, great, but that's not for me. And I can't give 100% to running and 100% to work and 100% to family and 100% to my volunteer whatever I'm doing. Right. I just can't. I'm only one person. And so understanding that there's going to be ebbs and flows, trying to stay on track. And I do a pretty good job of staying on my schedule when I travel, but there are times where Sarah gets a text early and I'm like, hey, that 7 miles turned to 5. I'll see if I can make it up tomorrow. If not, I'm going to be a few miles down.
Yeah.
Nobody didn't PR, didn't BQ because they missed 2 or 3 miles extra or missed some targets on their workouts.
Even just miss one long run.
It's fine.
I mean, a lot of times people get sick during a training cycle or you've got a little tweak or something that you just need to rest for a second. And it's it'll be fine. Most of that is mental. Agreed.
And I know my coach says this and I fully agree. It's better to go into something undertrained than overtrained.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And, some people might not agree because you can grit out a lot, but you can't make your body go when it's so burnt out that it can't physically move. So I err on this side of caution, but I also have a different history than a lot of people do. And so I'm not a death before DNF person.
I've never heard that.
Oh yeah, death before
I've heard
do not finish.
ER or PR or ER.
I'm not an ER or PR person either.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I am what I would say a gritty person when I'm running. I'm very intense. I don't like to call a workout. I beat myself up mentally when I miss a pace. But again, the forced perspective from having it dangled in front of me that I might not be able to run anymore is no one race is worth a life-altering injury for me. Mm-hmm. So there's growth,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
Older, wiser.
I feel some people, the minds, sometimes tough love and some of those types of mantras work for me in certain scenarios. But there's usually scenarios where I know that it's not like I'm not actually going to send myself to the ER or
Yeah.
I'm not going to be injured, but just sometimes I go there in like darker moments to be
Yeah.
like get myself through it.
I mean, I'm more grit than frou-frou, I would say, when it comes to like my, my mantras and how, like what I tell myself. But I'm also realistic, and I don't know. I try and focus it on like a lot of what we're feeling in the doubt and the pain cave and all of that is mental. I mean, of course, the
Yeah.
physical pain is real, but I can't tell you how many times I've been in a race and been like, oh my God, can I hold this pace any longer? It's rarely because I can be like, well, my quads are just giving it all they got.
Yeah.
It is the whole body, the mind, the self-talk. I'm just like, just do it. Just shut up and run.
Yeah.
Just shut up and run.
Yeah, if only like you could actually switch your brain. I need to practice more mental strength for sure, because the more I've learned about it or talked about it, the more you really realize how it's such a real thing.
It is. It very much is. I will do it with my routes sometimes and intentionally pick a route that I don't want to do that day. Or no,
Yeah, that has like a hill on it or something, and you're like, oh, I don't want to.
and I love hills.
Okay.
But not for like a speed workout day.
Right.
But there are times where, like last weekend, I picked a hilly route for my speed long run. And I told Sarah I was going to do it. And she's like, yikes, I like it. Let's go. And of course, I am
picture that.
dropping F-bombs in like my Siri voice to text.
Oh.
Being like, text Coach Sarah, I fucking hate this. And I'm like,
Oh, that's funny.
because I can't hit my paces because I'm on hard terrain. But I get really close.
Which is,
And I'm like, okay, I could have done that on the nickel plate.
yeah.
I could have done that on a flat surface, but I didn't. And I don't do that every time. But those are the moments I call on in a tough moment of the race.
Mm-hmm.
When I am struggling to hit a pace and it's like, hey, you're doing this on a flat surface right now, like at Monumental or something.
Right.
Remember when you did this on Brooks Scholes Hill or on a hill in HP or something? And those are the moments I will focus on because it gives me data in my head where I'm
Yeah.
like, I've done this before. I can
Right.
do this again.
Yes. What is HP?
Sorry, Hamilton proper.
Okay. Well, I was like, Holiday Park? That doesn't track
Well,
with
there's
Fishers.
Heritage Park,
Okay.
Holland Park, Hamilton proper. Sorry, Hamilton proper.
Okay. Yeah, you said that. I was like, okay. Yeah, well, this whole topic has kind of been along this topic that I wanted to talk to you about, which was burnout. And it just feels like you've been given not a gift by any means from what you've been through, but it seems like dealing with what you've dealt with has helped prevent you from just running yourself into the ground and burning out. Do you agree with that?
I think it's given me a leg up in some ways from like a mental perspective, but I would say I am still a burnout risk and have experienced that. I did at the end of last year. And then like looking back on my year, I did 2 ultramarathons, one of which was 100K. I did a full marathon. I ran 3 half marathons or raced 3 half marathons, one of which was a big PR effort. I did the 8-hour cup team. I did some of the 317 races. And so some of those aren't all out efforts, but I was competing a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. What marathon did you do last year?
I did tunnel.
Oh, that's right. I want to talk about that because I've never heard of that.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
it. It's a great one. Even though I did not have a great experience. It was not the race at the course. It was just not my day. But I had a big year. I tried to cram a little bit too much in.
That's amazing.
And I didn't go into last year thinking I want to PR all of these. Like I wasn't laboring under any delusion that I was going to be able to pull that
Right.
off. But after Prairie, I had dropped my Monumental down to the half and thought it'd be really cool if I could PR again, like use all of this fitness that I've gained this year. And I think that's the trap that so many of us fall into. Like we've got this great base, we've done all these things this year. Don't waste it. Not when the opposite is, look at all you did this year. Maybe it's time for a break.
Yeah, like, hey, let's
Let's
button
not.
up this year. Let's save it for next year. Or like, yeah.
And I should have after Prairie.
Yeah.
I learned that lesson. And so I tried, and I could tell, and I still took 7 or 8 days off after Prairie. And
That's good. I mean,
yeah, and I'm a
done
big,
that.
you have to take time
Yes.
off. I should have probably taken more. Although the funny thing is with the setup of Prairie, I wasn't sore after. Like my body was beat up and my stomach was destroyed, but my legs felt fine after 2 or 3 days
Wow.
because running at an easier pace, and
I guess that's true.
you're taking walk breaks. I was scraping constantly. It's not like running an all-out effort. It wasn't at like a lactate threshold or anything. But still, mental burnout, and then just overall, that's just a lot of mileage. And I knew before mile 1 in Monumental Half this past year that was a mistake. And I'm not normally one to don't count yourself out that early in a race. Yeah. But this was different. I was like, okay. And I didn't have an awful race by any stretch. I was still went a 139, 138. I mean, I held on because I'm competitive and I wanted to prove to myself that I could still push through a tough effort. But after that, I was like, it's time for some time off. And I was talking with some people on a club run a couple weeks ago, and I said, I think the hard part about taking time off with running is we're always so worried about losing fitness. But this is kind of a hot take. Not everybody agrees with me on this, and that's okay. But if your end of year break or end of season break, I don't mean after like one race, I mean after my year last year. If you don't lose a little bit of fitness in your break wasn't long enough. It'll come back. Yeah. It will come back. But if you feel like after your break you are fresh and ready to go, you probably didn't take a long enough break. You should feel like you've lost some things. Your body needs a break.
How long was your break?
I think in the 3 weeks after Monumental Half, I ran once or twice. And they were like 5Ks. And then after that, I ran twice a week. Okay. On and off. And no schedule. Like Sara, I hire Sara. I'm just like, can I, like a lawyer, I'm like, can I keep you on retainer for a year and just whatever? Yeah. And I was like, I don't want any expectations for the end of the year. I want to start fresh. Mm-hmm. And the holidays are a lot. I also traveled a lot for work after Monumental last year. I think I was out west twice and in Boston once in like a 5-week period. Yeah. And so I did a lot of walking, and I definitely felt it. I lost fitness. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. That is okay. Yeah. And I know I'll be stronger for it. I mean, if the elites who it's their whole job can take time off.
Such a good point.
I should at least be doing that.
Right. Yeah, it's a great point. I also think having a coach during those times can be helpful to just say, hey, make me take this time off. Check.
Know like, that you're going to get a text.
Yeah, like know that I'll be in trouble because I am a rule follower. So I don't want to,
It's also a good time to kind of going back to where I said I'm very intentional about running not being my entire identity, even though it is a huge part, to remind myself there are other things. Especially for the time of year, like I got back into baking and stuff because I love to bake and it's the holidays and I love to read, so I read more and just did more things at home. Other things that give me joy that I was like, this is a good reminder that you should not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Well, you like looking at me and saying that, I'm like thinking, most of my personality is running. But yeah, if anything, I need less hobbies.
I was going to say, I would not say that your whole personality. I mean, like
a lot of what I do.
A lot of what you do is fueled by running, but you are not somebody I would say your whole personality is running.
Well, thanks. Because sometimes I'm like, I mean, if I wasn't able to run or, what would that look like for me? And hopefully I don't ever have to answer that question. But
yeah, I think that you're more spread out than you give yourself credit for. Because, running is still a massive part of my life. I'm sure that's probably one of the first identifiers that would pop into a lot of people's heads in my life. It is, she's a runner. Mm-hmm. And I am. And I love that part of my identity. Yeah. Like I do. But I don't know, the whole like running is your whole life, or, one of my least favorite sayings is running is my therapy. Running is therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Running is running and therapy is therapy.
Yes.
We should not equate the two.
Yeah.
It can be a tool in your toolkit. But
love it.
It is not therapy. It is not the whole thing.
Agreed. 100%.
And, and if I ever get to that point, because there are definitely times where I'm like, I need to go on a run. And that's okay. But if I feel like I'm doing that all the time, like, whoa, like not to sound corny, but what are we running from? What are we running from?
Yeah.
Do we need to sit down and talk? Do we need, do I need do I need to go see some friends? Do I need to, just go to bed? Like, what do I need? Because this is not, it can't be everything.
No. I think people who say running is their therapy have never been to therapy.
I would think so.
Because it's like, no, there's just not like a one-way thing.
Yeah.
Like it's very different. It's a tool in the toolkit for sure.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a big one.
It can be therapeutic. But it's not therapy.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. And I say that as somebody with, clinical diagnosed anxiety. I'm very open about mental health. I think that having a well-balanced diet, and I think it's empirical, it's evidence and science. Having a well-balanced diet, having an active lifestyle definitely helps with mental health. But it's not going to fix everything. Yeah. Therapy is real. Us having a support system is real. Medication is real. Yeah. And I'm all for it. And so I'm very cautious, especially, my nieces are now not older. They're just, they're finishing high school age, but very intentional about the way that I talk about running and mental health and the things that go in it for all runners, particularly female runners, but all runners, body image, food, all the things that go into it. Because I know as much as I put out that everybody's a runner, all of that, there are still days where I'll look in the mirror and not like what I see and not.
Yeah, same.
And I think owning that you can be body positive and you can think all that, but sometimes the demons are going to creep through. Yeah. It needs to still be part of the conversation because, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I every day I wake up and I'm like, I love what I see, because that is not the case. But practicing what we say and being more intentional is very important to me for the next generation of runners, because life's too short to hate yourself.
Right. Well, and we've just been this week, we could have a whole nother podcast about this, but you as a female especially, and even men, you've been preconditioned to when you look at a photo of yourself, the things that you look and fixate on first are insane to think about. And I've seen some pictures like that on the internet where people are like, imagine the brainwashing that has to happen for you to look at this picture and see this. Yeah. And you're like, that's so true. And it's terrifying for me, especially having kids, because I never want to say anything negative about myself in front of my kids, or look at a picture and be like, oh, that's not a good one. Let's take, it's just no.
I 100% agree. I'm so intentional. I try to be. I'm nobody's perfect.
And believe me, me.
But I try so hard not to act a certain way around food, or I will call this out. And if you've been around me, you've heard me call people out on this. Food is not to be earned. Yeah. You did not earn that ice cream cone. Food is not to be earned. And food can have one serving or one meal or whatever's whole value could be it made you happy because you wanted it. Not everything has to be nutritious. Oh my God, leave protein out of my cupcakes or cookies.
Or coffee now. I'm just gosh, everything has protein in it.
Just, Lord, let me just have some things. And so I'm very, I don't know. I see so many things on social media, and whether it's famous runners or just runners with this big following, or just our normal people, where it's a constant body check, what I eat in a day. Right. And I'm cautious. Everybody deserves to have their own platform and do what they want to do. But I'm cautious of that, because it just draws so much attention to the things that don't matter as much. Yeah. And things that I don't want to model for my, I think about my twin nieces who are 3.5, and I'm like, oh my God, they've not experienced somebody, being at the pool and being like, oh, I feel so fat. And I'm like, oh my God. First of all, fat's not bad. Right. I've even tried, and it's so funny, because if my nieces watch this, they're going to be like, you're nuts for this part. But when they were younger, my mother-in-law has a pool. And I remember being over there and we're swimming, we're all in swimsuits. And they were both, the two that were there were both around, that age, that late middle school, early high school age. And we were grilling burgers, and I'm looking at Tony, and I was like, he's like, what? I'm like, I'm going to be annoying for a second. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I'm going to eat a burger, and I'm going to be like, I've been swimming so hard, and trying to say things out loud that I wish I would have heard. At that age, I'm so excited to have this burger. And I was, but almost outdoing the negative self-talk in my own head. Yeah, right. And then in my own head, I'm like, we're not going to sit here and flex our stomach and suck in or like,
Yeah.
my belly is a space and it's going to get bigger when I put things in it. And we're just going to be okay with it. And it sounds like it's so much. It's so crazy to think that we think about these things.
Yes, it is.
But I remember being at pool parties at their age with my parents' friends and looking at some of the older girls and being like, I wish my body looked like that. I wish I did this.
Right,
Maybe I shouldn't eat that. Right. And it's crazy to think about how much of that can be perpetuated accidentally in the running world. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy. And I just, we're not going to fix everything overnight. And some of it is what it is. But I think talking about it, being honest about it, giving space to the feelings, then moving on and focusing on other things that are more important is the best way to normalize calling it out.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So that's my soapbox.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like we could talk about that forever. Okay. I want to talk briefly about, is it called tunnel vision? Was that the name of it? What's it called? Why am I thinking tunnel vision? It's not that.
No, because you're right. It's confusing. There's 3 different tunnel races. It's the same course, and there's tunnel vision, tunnel light, and light at the end of the tunnel.
Where is this?
It's out in Snoqualmie Pass area of Washington State.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so a few people in FRC have done the race, which is how I come to learn about it. Michelle got her BQ there, Michelle Geyer.
Wow.
Dan Brinkruff has run it. Treg Harris has run it. I might be forgetting somebody.
But so many people I still need to meet, too.
Sorry. Well,
no, it's good.
But it's beautiful. You start up in the mountains, and you run down a trail. And it's not quite like the Revel ones where it's like a whole mile down or something.
Yeah, I've done one of those. My PR for a long time.
I'm sure. But still, like, that's hard in its own way.
Well, sure, but it's like really helpful. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, this one, before Boston did the
changes they made for elevation stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just over that. Normally it was, so I think the cutoff's like 1,500 feet of elevation loss, and I think this one was like 17.
Okay.
And this year they've taken it down, and so now it's like,
I was going to say, they probably had to find a way to switch that up so they could.
So they weren't going to.
Oh.
At least not this year. And then when we were getting all the snow, they were getting rain, and there were like landslides. And so trails were destroyed.
Oh no.
And they think that they'll get them, put back or whatever, but it was the perfect opportunity for them to change a little bit. So part of the course is the same now, part of it's different. But yeah, you start up in the mountains. It's beautiful. I like to listen to music while I run races. I don't always listen to music while I'm training, but I didn't listen to music for the first half and just looked around. I mean, you pass waterfalls, mountains, cliffs, beautiful, just gorgeous stuff you can't see around here.
Yeah.
And all you hear is that it's like half packed trail, some gravel. So I didn't wear like my full race shoes and had like little like trail, they call them like shoe gaiters. They look like a night gaiter to prevent rocks from getting in your socks. But you just hear the crunch and birds and waterfall. So if you're somebody that needs a lot of crowd support, it's probably not your race. You also, like, if you do have family or friends that go out there, you're not really gonna see them because you can't get to the trail on any vehicle. They give them, the race directors, like a pass for that one day to like get water out to some stops, but otherwise, no.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's gorgeous race. Unfortunately, it was just not my day. I was on track for a 3:19 for the first 15 miles and feeling great. I mean, I was happy. I was like, I am going to do this. I'm going to be cute with enough leeway.
Oh, right. Yep.
And then around mile 15 and a half, my stomach started to turn a little bit, which has been a problem for me in the past. No matter how hard I train with my nutrition, race day. And unfortunately, the temperature was climbing. It climbed from low to high that day. It was a 40-degree increase.
Oh, that's so hard.
It wasn't that much from like the start of the race to the end, but it was a 25, 30.
That's a lot. I mean, even 10-degree difference is, you can feel.
I was starting to feel the sun was coming out. We're also a little bit closer to the city now, less in the mountains, so that you have a little bit less tree protection, which makes it cooler up north. And I was starting to feel my stomach turn. And I remember I voice texted Rachel and Michelle and Coach Sara and told them all, stomach's starting to turn. And I'm getting this really nice, like, quick tidbits of advice in my earbuds. Like, take a second, walk, let it settle, sips of water, little ones, whatever. Then it gets worse. Then I puke. Then my stomach, I have a picture. I will not be linking it, but if you see me in person, I will show you. I'm just not sending it out.
Yeah.
My belly is distended. That was like at mile 21. I was so bloated. It didn't matter that I was puking. Other things were happening that I will spare everybody details on. Just awful. And I kept trying. Like, I would have like a slower mile, and I was like, let's just try one more time. It's like, as soon as I went back down at a pace, my stomach was just like, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
So frustrating.
So I went from being on pace for a 3:19 for the first 15 miles to running like a 3:40.
Okay.
Which is not a bad marathon time by any stretch, but I went from the highest high to the lowest low very quickly in a race. And I was devastated. I mean, I was so sad. I was in so much pain. I was determined to finish the race because I wasn't at an injury risk. I was just very uncomfortable. And it's not an easy race to DNF. You have to make it to an aid station and wait for a gator to come pick you up.
Oh, yeah.
You might be sitting there for an hour or two because they can't do it when there's runners on the course.
Right.
So, then they tell you, they're very open, like, hey, if you get injured, like, we will get to you. But if you're just DNFing, like, you're going to be sitting there for a minute. And so that was my tunnel experience.
Is there a tunnel?
Yes. Sorry.
That's
like the most important thing. I just completely glossed over it. It's right at the start. So the new course is a little different from what I've read. But when I did it, you start just not even a half mile before an old train tunnel through the mountains.
Okay.
And you run through it, and I think it's 2 miles.
Oh, wow.
In a tunnel. And for the first, like, third-ish, you can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. It is pitch black. And it is kind of like a subtle V.
Okay.
Shaped like like a country road where the rain will run off.
Yeah.
It's tight because the race just started.
Yeah.
And there's like puddles lining the side, and it's not even, and it's dark. You have to have a headlamp.
Okay, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, they enforce having a headlamp, and then there's a drop bucket. You like they have an extra thing on their bibs that you affix to your headlamp, and you drop it at the end, and then they'll bring them back to you.
Oh, that's smart, because that would be kind of annoying to have
100%.
The whole time.
And your GPS kind of gets funky in there.
Oh, sure. Oh, that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very careful when I got out to make sure it was matching up with the mile markers. And mine corrected itself pretty quickly. But yeah, you're in a tunnel. That's honestly my least favorite part. I'm a little claustrophobic. That would
be really bad to have towards the end. I would really not like that.
Yeah. And luckily it's right at the beginning.
Right.
You get it over with. People start to spread out. I stuck with a pace group when I was in the tunnel. I actually ended up passing the pace group because I kept getting clipped and elbowed and things. Yeah. And it just was stressing me out. So I went around and did it. But it's a cool experience. I mean, it's not my favorite part of the race, but it was a cool experience. And then you come out to this gorgeous wilderness, and there's a waterfall not far, and the mountains. I mean, it's just so gorgeous that you're over whatever uncomfortableness you felt in the tunnel.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So I actually decided last night I'm doing it again.
Oh, okay. Redemption.
Redemption.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again. So I talked with Coach last night and decided that would be my marathon again this year.
Okay.
So.
What time of year is that?
So there's 3 different ones. I'm going to do the one in June.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's going to be my marathon. And because if nothing, like, it was not my race. That was not a great day. The course was beautiful, and I want to do it again where I'm not hating everything for the second half.
That seems fair.
And I really liked it out there. So I'm going to do it again.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Redemption.
Well, that already answers one of the end of the podcast questions. So, end of the podcast questions.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about your upcoming campaign because that's very important.
Oh, yeah.
For this
thank
conversation.
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, not let us forget about that. And I will talk about it at the beginning.
Thank you.
But okay. So, end of the podcast questions. What is your favorite running mantra and or song?
Ooh, song is easy. It's called Do It by Miko and K Camp.
Okay. I don't know this song.
You've probably heard it like mixed into things.
Okay.
I think it's like early 2000s.
Oh, then I'll like it probably.
I love it. It's such a great pump up song. And mantras, I have lots that I use, but a lot of what I will say is I get to do this.
Yeah, I love that one.
I get to do this. And when I start to feel like really heavy mentally, it's just get to the next mile over and over.
Yeah.
And if I'm really getting desperate, it is, do you really want to go to bed tonight disappointed with the choice you made right now?
Yeah, right.
Do you really want to go to bed disappointed, or do you want to leave it all out there?
Right. Yeah, that's a good one too.
And accept how it ends.
Yeah.
Because you can't be mad at yourself if you leave it all out there.
Right. You're like, that just wasn't my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are
Okay, those are good. And then the next one is, what is your next finish line and or milestone?
Running wise, my next finish line my next big one will be tunnel. I'm also throwing out the idea of going for 100 miles at Prairie this year, which is in September.
Yep.
My caveat with that is it's weather dependent.
Okay, that's fair.
My stomach and heart rate do not cooperate with hot weather.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I am not a hot weather runner, and we've gotten very fortunate the last 2 years with Prairie weather.
Yeah.
So if we get another great weather day, I'm going for 100. If we don't, then I will listen to my body and have a fun day.
Yeah, there you go. Are you doing Carmel or the Mini or are you signed up for any other local races?
I'm not right now. I will probably do the half at Carmel, and I'll probably go do the half in Cleveland too, because I have friends running.
Okay.
And my friend Sara Farney is going to run her first full there, so I'm super excited for her to do that. That's really exciting. And so I have some other friends going to race various distances or just to go make the trip. So I think I'll probably do Cleveland half in May as like a final tune-up before tunnel. So
cool. Oh, I can't wait to cheer you on.
Thank you.
And then huge milestone that you're seeking this year with this campaign that you're about to start and raise $150,000.
I hope so.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this campaign. I am honored to say I've been nominated for the Blood Cancer United's Visionary of the Year campaign for 2026. If you're familiar, it used to be called LLS, or Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Okay, it is the same. I did not realize that. I'm glad you said that.
Yes, it is the same. They just switched it to the new name, Blood Cancers United, because it's more than just leukemia and lymphoma. It's all blood cancers. It always has been. The name was just a little bit misleading, so they decided to update it. So I'm so excited, nervous, but I'm a very passionate, purpose-driven type of person, and so this challenge seemed perfect. I was so excited to be nominated. So the 10-week campaign starts February 26th and goes through May 7th, 5th, but it's 10 weeks. And during that time, myself and my team will try to raise as much money as possible for Blood Cancer United. I picked the insane goal of $150,000, which that's a huge number. And I picked that for one main reason. If I get to $150,000 in my campaign, I get not one, but 2 research grants that I get to name after friends or family. I have lost 2 very important people in my life to blood cancer, both of which were multiple myeloma blood cancer. So my dad's sister, my Aunt Becky, succumbed to her cancer just a few years ago, and my mom's dad, who also battled multiple myeloma blood cancer, and he passed away when I was in elementary school. So I decided I'm not going to pick. I don't want to name one research grant. I want to name one after each of them.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
Which means I have to hit $150,000. And so, I've been asked so far, what happens if you don't, right? And which is a real possibility. It's a huge goal.
Yeah.
This is a shoot for the moon goal. And so I will flip a coin.
There you go.
Because I'm not going to pick.
Yeah.
I will flip a coin. And it's kind of like the goals we make in running. What's the worst that's going to happen with a big goal? You miss, but you still PR.
You're going to raise a ton of money? Yeah, I mean,
or you miss, but you still ran a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So for this, it's, oh, darn, I only raised $100,000.
Gosh, yeah.
Even if it was $50,000, it's
so much.
It's a ton of money for a really important cause.
Yeah, that's just incredible. And for anybody listening, maybe don't ask what happens if you don't hit the goal. And if you've asked her that, I mean, that's fine, but it's not the nicest thing to ask when somebody puts a big goal out there. Just saying, just a words of advice.
That's a good point. If you did and you're watching this, it didn't hurt my feelings.
Right. It's also like, because in their mind, they're like, wow, that's insane. Like, but let's just support.
And I'm a heart on my sleeve person, and I totally respect, not everybody likes to put their goals out there. I don't necessarily put all of my goals out there, but I'm not shy about it, because for this one especially, I'm like, there's a very specific reason why I'm why I'm going for $150,000 and I'm going to do everything in my power to hit it. So if you're watching, if you're listening and you feel compelled, please reach out. We're looking for partners and donors and anybody who wants to be involved in this incredible campaign, because the stuff that the funds go toward, it's not just research, although it is a lot of cancer research. It's also helping families and caretakers and all the things that come with the very scary reality of families and individuals living with cancer. And so I'm excited for a new challenge, something outside of running, and I hope we can pull it off. I'm really excited.
Well, I'm here to help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you for giving me some space to talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
so excited.
Yeah,
so
it's incredible.
If you're friends with me on social media, you're going to see a lot of that for 10 weeks.
So just reshare it.
So
there's also, I think, well, in the running world, there's a lot of people raising money for charity running in particular, but there are so many other ways you can help that aren't monetary. If you see her share, you just reshare it. That's a huge way to help that doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, I'm going to probably be putting out some events and things, or if you want to show up and take part, it would be, a very low, if any, financial commitment, but just a way to get the word out there. It's something that's very near and dear to me, and it's crazy since I have announced being a part of this campaign, how many people have reached out to me and been like, I have been touched by this type of blood cancer, like my family or a friend, or it's just so prevalent, and especially with the industry that I work in, I see the science side of it a lot, and so I was really excited by the prospect to getting this side of it, which is, the fundraising part, funding the grants that I get to read the papers on a year later or 5 years later or things. And so I'm really excited to be a part of this side of the picture and hope we can do some good.
Yeah, let's go. So excited. Oh, thank you, Carly, for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Fun.
This was
to get
so
to know
much
you
fun.
Better.
Yes. I thank you for asking me and for having me on here.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody who has listened.
Yes.
Or maybe watched.
Yeah.
And happy running.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yay.
If you enjoyed this episode of Finish Lines and Milestones from Sandy Boy Productions, please share, rate, review. It means a lot. It helps other people find the show, and I would really love to have other people find the show. Thank you so much to Relay Active, Amazfit, and Cure for sponsoring this podcast. And if you can believe it, next week's episode marks 150 episodes of the podcast. So first, Wednesday of next week, we'll be catching up with my coach, Rachel Cinders, who will be fresh off of the Tokyo Marathon. So you'll have to look for that Catching Up with Coach episode. Make sure you're subscribed to the show so you can see when it drops. And then, my 150th episode is featuring Rob Perez. If you don't already follow Rob on Instagram or TikTok, you should. He and I got to run the Marine Corps Marathon together last October. And so I tell the whole story about how that came together and really get to know Rob a lot better. He is an absolutely amazing human being. Everybody needs to know and support Rob. So I will see you next week. Thanks for listening.